Recorded live at Talks and Tasting Studios, it's the Clerical Errors Podcast, the podcast that shows you what's behind the collar. Let's go.
From the Talks and Tasting Studios, this is Bollhagen.
I'm Vicar.
And Peter's here.
Hey, Pete.
And Berg might be joining us.
Yeah, so Berg told us when to record. We said, sounds good. And Berg's nowhere to be found.
So he's probably maybe having technical difficulties or something.
I'll tell you what, every producer really enjoys this kind of time. Every producer, we live for the times when 2 of the 3 talents show up for the recording.
I want to thank you for calling me talent.
That's the takeaway.
It's an industry term. I no way around it, unfortunately.
Yeah, speaking as I like how people throw the words content creator around. Speaking as a content creator.
Are you an influencer?
You bet. I'm a fitness influencer. Just ask Vicar.
This is true.
All you Zoomers in there, you had PTSD just now. I also had that PTSD. Just want y'all to know.
So, yeah, we're waiting. I don't know if it's waiting, wondering if he's wrestling with equipment right now or something. I mean, you did hear back from him like once, right?
Yeah, he still has the same phone number. I have that's for sure.
Okay.
Maybe he lost his phone, I don't know. Anyway, let's not bag on him too much.
So what do you have as a beverage there, Pete?
Well, I've got a couple options. You recommended one of them. And I was already drinking the other because, 2 of the 3. So I've got some Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, and it tastes like summer. And you said of summer I like.
Down in Kansas City, you've been having weather in the 70s this week, and we're getting snow.
It's snowing right now.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
That's ridiculous. It's amazing how much a 4 hour. So what I have is I have the much anticipated Coca-Cola Starlight. Do you have one of those too, Pete?
Yeah. So you mentioned it, and I actually happened to have some too because it looked interesting.
You can have one too if you like, or you want to have your Leinenkugels. You got a Leinenkugel.
I brought a Leinenkugel as well, a canoe paddle Kolsch.
Oh.
So we've got Coca-Cola and Leinenkugel sponsoring us all tonight.
So this Coca-Cola Starlight is supposed to taste like space. I'm not sure how
something tells me it's not going to taste like space. Are you ready? Cheers.
Cheers. What does that taste like, Pete? It's got almost like a bubble gum. If you think bubblegum, you can taste bubblegum.
I think it tastes like candy corn.
That doesn't sound like space to me, guys.
I think it maybe a little candy corn. Can you taste the bubblegum?
Yeah, I can taste it.
Like bubblegum with like a touch of mint. To me, it tastes like you're chewing bubblegum and sipping a Coke. Yeah, it's not bad. What do you have there? You got what does that taste like? A canoe?
No.
Canoe flavored beer? A canoe paddle flavored?
Just tastes like a nice blonde Kolsch beer.
Nice.
What's a Kolsch beer?
I don't know. It's kind of blonde. It's a German type. I'm not the expert. We'd have to ask Berg, but he's not here yet.
He's not here yet. Man, I was all pumped up for Berg. I even need some alcohol. I was all ready for it, man. I had a news article for us to talk about, which I don't want to talk about with Vicar because he's not going to know what to say. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I hope he calls. Maybe this is a time zone issue, right?
Maybe.
Because he's in a different time zone now, right?
Mm-hmm. Can you maybe search if there's any like major thing going on in Cheyenne, Wyoming that may be a disruption?
Oh, yeah, sure. Maybe there's like urgent some kind of news.
Right.
Yeah, we could check that out.
Someone childcare manslaughter.
The second result if you search on Google News is the 10 absolute best songs about Cheyenne. So I'm gonna say no. There's nothing major going on in Cheyenne right now.
All right, I'll be right back. I have an idea.
Okay, sure. Hey Vicar, how's it going? It seems we're down to one talent on the podcast.
Yeah, if you can call it that. And it's only half a talent at that.
That's right.
But things are plugging along, you know. We just finished with the 5th week of Lent. Preached last night another sermon on the Lord's Prayer.
You feel confident with how your Lent series is going?
Yeah, it actually went pretty good. I was really hoping it would turn out, and I like it. I think I could reuse it someday.
Has there been a big surprise as you've been doing this that you didn't think you were going to run into that you did?
Oh, just that I feel like you could use the Lord's Prayer as a springboard for talking about any of the other parts of the Catechism or just about anything else in the Gospels. It's just so rich.
Fair enough. I just got a message from Berg.
What does it say?
It says, hey.
All right. All right.
Here.
Berg says, hey. Oh, wait. Oh, you got a message on Discord.
Yeah, that means he's got Discord.
All right, this is going to happen.
You got too excited, man. You're peaking already your microphone again.
I know. Sorry.
Oh gosh. My future ears are going to hurt. Oh.
Sorry, was that loud?
Yeah, that was really loud.
How do I turn Peter down? He's loud too.
Berg is in the call. We can't Andy's got his webcam. Look at that. Hang on, guys. I can switch this.
Hey.
All right, Berg. You got your microphone running. Can you say something? We can see if we can hear you. All right, it doesn't look like we can hear you. We planned for this. I'm going to work with Berg and try and get him set up while you guys continue recording a podcast, because we've already started, Berg, because we thought it would be funny. So you guys start... Berg's laughing. You guys go ahead and start talking, and I'm going to mute myself and talk to Berg. Berg, I'm going to call you on my phone.
So while they get this figured out, I want to talk about the sermon stuff when Berg's here. So I'm going to start the top 12 list. So, Peter, if you're paying attention, play the intro.
Enough nonsense. It's time for Bollhagen's Top 12.
So what I have for us, Vicar, today is I have a top 12 list. I've done the top 12 list on pastor hacks, right? Some
pastor hacks.
Right. Like one of it was if you need a collar,
Pro tips.
Right. Pro tips.
Okay.
And so I've got some Holy Week pro tips for us to consider as the listener, whether you can support your pastor, give your pastor these ideas, or maybe you can get kind of an idea of what goes on for a pastor. And also then, if you're a pastor, maybe you can follow some of these as you get ready for Lent. Maybe we have some younger pastors listening. So I have 12 pro tips. I like that word better. Pro tips entering Holy Week.
All right. Let's see them.
All right.
Number 12.
Take care of yourself. Eat well. Try to get some sleep. Hydrate.
Hydrate. I like that.
Hydrate. It's good for the voice. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing, because if you're not taking care of yourself,
yeah, if you're staying up all night working on last minute sermons, how are you going to have the delivery you need the next day?
So, because a lot of times, I'm busy, so I'm not going to eat very well.
Mm-hmm.
And deciding, okay, we've had this talk, when am I going to be productive? Get as much done when I'm going to be productive. If I'm not being productive, then I'm going to go do something to take care of myself. All right?
Okay.
Number 11.
Don't get lost in the details that you forget the big picture. There's a lot of details, right?
Right.
Especially when it comes to things in the liturgy, all sorts of when you do things, and they can be kind of overwhelming if you're not a details guy like I am. But sometimes you can get so lost in the details of what goes on during Holy Week that you forget the big picture of what's going on.
So what would you say to this? I had a boss that used to always say, the devil is in the details. Meaning, for us, it was look at the details or you'll, regret it later, kind of a thing for things like a proposal or a final report, things going to a client.
Well, I would say this. I would say, for example, we were talking about where are we going to stand during certain elements. Like
Right.
if we wind up standing in the wrong place, don't lose sleep over that.
I'm
know what
sure.
I mean?
I'm
That's
sure
the
some
kind of
vicars do. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, I know they do. Are we standing in the right spot? All sorts of, and there's all sorts of liturgical things that I try and follow. But to be honest, do I think I remember them all?
Have you had any vicars call you like late or in the middle of the night with such a silly worry like that?
Oh yeah.
We didn't go over this. Where do you want me to stand tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so that's 11.
Okay.
Number 10.
Express your appreciation for everyone who helps. Because sometimes Pastor will say, "Oh, excuse me, I just had a cosmic burp there."
Space.
So, what's kind of interesting is we talk about how busy we are. Well, we have people who are coming and ushering who work full-time jobs,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Who work full-time jobs and then they come and usher. Some places have a full-time job, and then I also will play the organ. Or everyone it's really busy for everyone. And so don't, as a pastor, get over yourself a little bit, realize everyone's a little busy, and you need to appreciate those who are also doing extra work.
That's a really good one. I like that.
All right.
Number 9.
Read Luther's How to Meditate on Christ's Passion.
Did that today.
Yeah. Because I think it helps get in the mind frame of how to understand that. So is there anything you glean from that, Vicar?
I think it helps us to remember to look at the details of the suffering that Jesus went through, because we often overlook that because we talk about it so much. We say things in the liturgy about it, but we kind of start to get numb to what does that really mean. For example,
Okay.
we can just say or read that Jesus was, whipped and scourged, but what that really meant was they probably took a pound of flesh off him with the brutal lashings, because there was pieces of lead or glass or whatever they used at the end of their whip to tear flesh. How often do we say it that way?
That was in the...
No, that's just my,
Okay.
the details that we need to bring. Luther brought them out in his way, but
Well, but he does say, though, you got to be careful, because he talks about don't, in a sense, mourn for him. It is in a way that, like you're crying and wailing over what happened, because he did it willingly. But
Yeah.
more so, he says, look at the details in this way. This is what your sins deserve.
yeah.
Like you wanna face God without Christ. Well, you can see what God's judgment actually looks like in those details.
And he says, too, that you crucified him. Your sins helped nail him.
So I've seen a frustrated Berg. We see a video of him.
He's moving fast.
Yeah. He's reading off of something there. All right. Oh,
We hear him.
hey.
All
Say
right.
something.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Good.
Berg
Hey.
is recording, guys.
Hey.
I
Hey,
made it.
love the studio.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? It's very rustic.
we're-
It could use a couple deer heads or like a nice mounted fish.
Soon.
Okay.
It reminds me of someone on YouTube. There's a guy called Derek More Plates, More Dates.
Can we look that up?
Oh, man. Well, it's good to be back. So we are, you guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, just fine.
Okay. Because I can't hear myself through the microphone, so I don't exactly know how it's all going. So.
No, we hear you.
Yeah,
We hear you.
we'll work it out after the recording, Berg. So see if you can keep it up for just this one recording. We'll get it fixed for next time.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so where are we at?
So I'm doing right in the middle of top 12 list of.
Sorry, Berg. Can we clap? I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, clap.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, now we're good. Go ahead.
All right, so you're
I
in the
didn't
middle
hear
of
him
a.
clap.
It's Discord. It's fine.
Okay. It's going to take a while to get used to the time delay.
Oh,
Right. And
is
to
there
the
a,
listener, it sounds like we're in different rooms, but we're in Clerical Error's main studio, the mothership. Peter is Houston, so to speak, running the controls, right? But
true.
he's actually in Kansas City. And then Berg's on the final frontier out there in Wyoming.
It's true. Living the dream, man.
So I am right in the middle. Barry, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking?
Yeah.
I have like this melted Arby's thing that I got, and I haven't been able to drink it because I've been busy today.
Oh. How's your leisure time?
There isn't any at this point, so
Well, we thank you for getting on the show today.
yeah.
I was kind of, Vicar could say, I was kind of like, oh, where's Berg? I was pretty down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I can raise your spirits right before Holy Week.
So that's what I'm doing. I have top 12 pro tips for pastors for Holy Week.
All right.
12 was take care of yourself, eat well, try to get some sleep, hydrate. Pretty
Yep.
practical. 11, don't get lost in the details so much that you forget what it's all about.
That's good.
Number 10 is express your appreciation for everyone who's helping. Is that a nice Bollhagen way of saying things?
It is. It's very nice.
'Cause I was saying, like, our ushers work full time, and then they come and help usher and do other things. You don't hear them complain like you hear some of these pastors moan.
Yeah, I know. It's like the most important week of like ever. And
It's like, this is why we are a pastor. I mean,
yeah. You know, I did services every day during Holy Week when I was in Iowa.
yeah, way back when.
It was awesome. The glory days.
Well, now you do services every day now, though, don't you?
I do for chapel. So living the dream.
Number 9.
Number 9.
All right, I did number 9, right? Read Luther's How to Meditate on Christ's Passion.
Beautiful. Beautiful text.
That always gets you in the mind frame of preaching some of the things, especially Good Friday. So,
Number 8.
get a nice cigar for Easter evening.
Yep.
That's an important one.
Absolutely.
A nice one. Not like those cherry ones, right?
No Swisher sweets.
Yeah.
No. Nothing that comes in a plastic tube.
Are you gonna hook me up this year, Bollhagen?
I might. I don't know if I'd have to go to a city somewhere. So you might have to bring something.
What? Don't they sell them at Quick Star?
There's places.
yeah.
There's places you
Have
can
Vicar have Vicar go pick them up for you.
Yeah. I'll take the girls with me.
I'm talking good though. At the
Well,
pay your daughter or son to go somewhere and do it for you. Though.
well, I mean,
well, you know, I think
there are
we're
a lot
going
of
to Mason
pastors.
City tomorrow.
There are a lot of pastors who order this stuff on the interwebs. You could do that.
Oh. A Cigar of the Month Club?
There you go.
There you go.
I bet that exists. Yeah.
So if you ever want to, one thing you can do to support the show is enroll us in the Cigar of the Month Club. Where can they get a hold of us, Vicar?
Well,
Vicar doesn't know.
they could email us.
That looks like you're drinking green snot, by the way, Berg.
I'm glad the quality of the show hasn't changed. I was afraid.
Just get a hold of us on Facebook. Feedback at clericalerrors.org. La, 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 la.
All right, we actually have to do this. Hang on, let's work it together. Let's do it like preschool style, Vicar. You know how that works, right? Teach the Bible verses to preschoolers.
Yeah, I repeat after you, right?
Yeah. So we have an email, feedback@clericalerrors.org.
Feedback@clericalerrors.org.
Facebook at facebook.com/clericalerrorspodcast.
Facebook at facebook.com. I'm still writing.
Who goes to facebook.com to find it?
/Clerical Errors Podcast.
Yeah, you got it. It's. I know it's a tough one.
Living the dream.
And then we have a Twitter.
At me, bro.
You have to always say we have a Twitter, so Bollhagen can say "at me, bro."
At me, bro.
And then it's at Clerical Errors P for podcast.
P for podcast.
See, Clerical Errors has its own, liturgical, deals here.
That's right.
It took us years to develop this, right?
It came about organically.
Really, it's not done because we still haven't put shoved the Patreon into that at all, or our merch store. We just kind of bring it up as an afterthought.
Buy a T-shirt at the merch store.
You could buy T-shirts.
Hey, Peter, one thing you can do for me for Easter is we need to get a stringer tee on there.
I'll give it a shot. It won't be cheap.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, that's a tank top, but it's like really thin, like so that it gets like in the that crease between your trapezius muscles and your side deltoid. It kind of lies right in there. So
You're so vain.
you miss me.
That's about as. I think the reason he wants it is that's as close as you can get to not wearing a shirt while still wearing a
Berg,
shirt.
when was the last time you laughed that hard? Huh?
Oh boy.
When was the last time you laughed that hard?
Probably since the last time we did the show.
All right. So 8 was get a good cigar, not a cheap one. The best that Quick Trip can get you, Quick Start can get you, apparently. All right.
Number 7.
Prepare your sermons in reverse order. Vicar and I have talked about this.
Yep.
Okay, I can't say that I always do it. But especially for a younger pastor, because what can happen is, okay, it takes you a long time. Right. And then like the last sermon you write is at Easter when you have the least amount of energy. Is that really where you want to go with that? Where you're like, I'm really tired of writing all these sermons. Okay, then I get to the Easter one.
Jesus is risen. Amen. Go home.
I mean, that's the service everyone goes to. You want to make that a good sermon.
Yeah, for many, that's the only one they go to.
So another reason why is it's really good in this sense. That means like for Monday, Thursday, if you're doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, then when you preach, then your sermons are ready and then you can focus on the other stuff. And you're not absent of your family at that time, where you're just gone because I have to do all these sermons yet. It kind of forces you, okay, Monday, Thursday, I'm done.
I like that.
I don't know what that's like anymore.
You look very relaxed, I must say. So you preached, though, haven't you? You've preached.
Yeah, I mean, I preach every day for chapel. I have preached Judica, and I will preach Good Friday, but then I won't preach again until Misericordias Domini. So,
Okay.
English, please.
I think it's the third Sunday in Easter, after Easter.
Thank you.
Which is the Good Shepherd Sunday. Jesus says, I'm the Good Shepherd.
I did actually listen to a little of your sermon.
The 24-minute one?
Yeah. That's why I said, what is it? TLDL?
TLDR.
TDR, I guess, or TLDW.
Too long, didn't read.
I didn't listen to the whole thing.
What? It was awesome.
Okay, here's the thing, Berg. Did you listen to any podcasts?
I tried. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't drive like what I used to. In fact, I haven't hardly been able to go out for a walk. It's crazy.
Busy.
Yep.
See any jackrabbits running around?
Just jackalopes.
Okay.
Any Wile E. Coyotes?
Tumbleweeds. So
Do you have your boots yet?
not yet. Gonna get them though.
How about
Gonna be
that?
Awesome. Not yet. Soon. I brought my old man hat though.
Belt buckle.
Oh, he's gonna put it on. Oh yeah, the Jamie Heineman look.
So I'm pretty relevant.
So the point is, you read them and you prepare your sermons in reverse order. That way, too, if you think about it, for your Easter sermon, you actually know kind of where you're going, and you could actually craft those in preparation.
I think everybody knows where Holy Week is going though.
Yeah, you know what's going on? What's going to happen next?
Everybody's in suspense.
You know, I always thought about preaching a sermon like that where, you know, it's kind of like the Batman, you know, cliffhangers where it's like, oh, what's going to happen to Batman? Tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel, right? You know he's going to get out of it.
I remember one time as a kid, this literally threw my mother, hi Mom, into like deep depression for like 2 weeks. This was when he was teaching at the seminary, so why my dad wasn't the pastor for us anymore. And we get to church on Easter morning, and the sermon was basically, you nailed him to the cross. It is like all for Easter.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So
Number 6.
this is to help with this is a hack, a pro tip to help you with Holy Week. Get a vicar.
That's true. Especially for the vigil.
Right. It probably saves me a quarter of my time for Holy Week.
Living the dream. Outsourcing.
So that helps. He gets to preach a couple of times.
Yep.
Number 5.
Take at least Monday, maybe Tuesday off afterwards.
What? Come on. There's Easter Monday readings and there's Easter Tuesday readings.
Okay. Go to virtual church on Monday and Tuesday. But that goes to I said, be thankful for those who are helping. You know, everyone else has to go to work on Monday, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 4.
At some point, whether Thursday, Friday, or Saturday during Holy Week, give your wife a nice foot rub and thank her for all that she does.
You could probably outsource that too to the, you know.
Yeah, go to the nail salon.
Here you go, honey. I found some coupons.
Yep, work smart, not hard, right?
Yeah, I have this entertainment book. Remember those? With all the coupons that you buy for like $20.
Yes.
Kids still
yes, I
sell
do.
those
No.
at school.
My point is, you take some time to let your wife know because it's stressful for them too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're gone and they're trying to prepare everything and get everything nice for you for Easter, that it's good to remember them and do something nice for them. Trust me, it's true.
Number 3.
Make phone calls specifically inviting people to Holy Week and Easter services. I've done that. And I've actually, people said they weren't going to come. So.
What?
No, they were probably wouldn't have gone unless I invited them to come.
Oh, okay. I
Is
thought they
this
told
like-
you to your face, like, no, we're not going to go.
Is
Like,
this
it's
like people?
Boy, that's pretty brazen. I tell you what.
It's
Right.
been a tough day at work, you know.
Right.
Is this people
We're
you
going
haven't
go-karting.
seen for a while, or
Yeah.
okay?
Like to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you. And please come. This is what's going on.
Good deal.
All right.
Number 2.
This actually might be my best one. And it's
Why,
something I've
so why
started-
isn't it number 1?
Well, because, I have to do the whole gospel thing. But because okay, so number 2 is I think Peter will agree this is the best. All right? For Easter meal, steak and baked potatoes. Grill
Yeah. Amen.
good steak, bake potatoes. Because everyone's exhausted. You throw it on the grill. There's no cleanup. Hardly any cleanup for baked potatoes. You have everyone likes it. Everyone eats it. You're not doing this whole ham, bake for 3 hours, have all this stuff, all mashed potatoes and all these extra dishes and casseroles. Grill steak, good steak, and baked potatoes. Because then you can just eat and relax, not worry about everything being torn apart in the house. Good meal. Boom.
Booyah.
What do you think about that one, Berg?
That's what I like to hear.
Because Peter's noticed the difference when we would do something like ham, and then it was about 4 or 5 years ago we started with the steak.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I've always, especially as I've been away from home more, I find myself wanting steak more often, and I don't get it much. Because
it is getting more expensive.
Yeah.
But what I actually do, like this is super pro tip for number 2. I go to Fairway. I get a beef loin and have them trim it and slice it for me.
Ooh.
Nice.
And you just, oh yeah, that's what you need to do. Oh, you got a Coke there?
I do.
We didn't mention, Berg, we're sipping on Coca-Cola Starlight.
Ooh. What makes it Starlight?
It's supposed to taste like space.
Yeah.
Do you feel the infinite void in your mouth?
Yeah. It kind of tastes like what's between my ears.
Well, space must be pretty full then.
And that brings us to number 1.
And number 1.
Enjoy it. It's for you too.
The gospel or whatever, I guess.
Right. I mean,
Way to sell it, Bollhagen. Way to sell it.
that's one thing I've noticed the last 20 years. Every year I enjoy it a little more
Good.
because I'm more relaxed. I know everything's going to get done. I know my sermons are going to get done. I don't sweat that. It'll be fine. And I know the vicar.
That's why you just have Vicar do
because
it.
he wants to graduate and wants to be pastor. And you know, I don't, because I don't get anxious about it anymore. And Peter can attest. I don't get anxious about it, do I, Pete? From what you can remember.
I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think you get tired.
I get tired. Right?
I don't think you get anxious about it.
I get after the Easter Vigil, I get a little loony when I come home. You know.
I would argue beforehand.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all day Saturday. But
So,
like by Sunday lunchtime, game over.
So Berg, are there any I'm missing?
I think that sounds pretty good.
Well, we didn't actually go through our text yet, so I wanted to wait for you.
Aw.
So I guess we'll do the Palm Sunday. So are you guys doing the Palm Sunday with the Sunday of the Passion? Do you know? Or are you just doing the Palm?
That's actually traditional. So that way during Holy Week you hear the Passion according to St. Matthew on Sunday. You hear the anointing at Bethany on Monday. You hear the Passion according to St. Mark on Tuesday. You hear the Passion according to St. Luke on Wednesday. Monday, Thursday, you hear the foot washing. Friday, you hear the Gospel according to St. John. So, a lot of pastors complain that, they put it in there so that way, for those people who didn't go to Holy Week or to any other service, they still hear the Passion. And it's like, this way predates that, so.
It's about, there's a cycle then throughout the week.
Right.
So it only makes sense if you're doing services through each day of Holy Week, as you did.
Right. Because I'd have people ask me, well, why didn't we hear my God, why have you forsaken me on Good Friday? And it's like, well, we did on Sunday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday. So, the end.
The end. And so I was thinking about the Palm Sunday side of it, because you can use, because we do the entrance with the palms, We do an entrance and we read.
So are you doing the Matthew one or the John one?
The John one.
Okay, what is the text on that, John?
Chapter 12. What is it? John 12, 12 to 19. 12, 12. 12 through 19.
12 through 19, okay.
And I was thinking about this. To me, this is one of my favorite lines in the whole text. It's one of my favorite lines in Scripture. And that is from the quotation from Zechariah. Fear not, daughter of Zion. Behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt. I love the... I don't know. It almost seems sarcastic in a way. Don't be afraid. Your king comes on a donkey. Riding on a donkey.
Indeed.
Because that's not how the world would expect a king.
Yep.
And so I did do some reading in Zechariah. Man, Zechariah is a trip.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah. Oh, Vicar found his card.
It was in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
Well, I can see how often you've been in the Bible. The time.
See, if you had opened it up, you would have found it like weeks ago.
I know.
All right, let's get back to the text.
Thank you. So obviously, as John points out, the Zechariah reading, it's a fulfillment of it. And if you look at Zechariah, that's an interesting time in the history of the Old Testament as well, because was it Zechariah and Haggai were writing to prepare and to encourage the people to build the temple that Jesus used.
Yep, the temple of Zerubbabel.
Zerubbabel. Yes, I remember. Do you hear a funny story about the temple of Zerubbabel?
Sure.
Not that I get distracted.
Of course not.
So I was doing a Bible study, and I was talking about the temple built by Zerubbabel, right? And I had a new elder for communion. And what the elders do is they give me the common cup, and I finish whatever's in it.
Yep.
Right? And so, like on the last table, he filled it up to the brim, and no one took it.
Ooh.
Right. And so, Bible study after church, guess what I was having to say a whole bunch of times?
Zerubbabel.
Right. Try saying that after too much wine. It is very difficult. Mm-hmm. And then you start smiling about it, and people wondering, is Pastor okay? I'm fine. Zerubbabel.
Well, it's better than prophesy.
Yeah.
I mean, the vicar,
Prophesy.
that former vicar must have wished he was, drunk. Because then he would have an excuse.
Right.
All right, so you're going to focus on...
So you can tell I've done a lot of work on this.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because this is where we get the name Palm Sunday, right? From the Gospel of John. Right. Because the other texts don't talk about palm branches. And palm branches are obviously a sign of victory. We see them in the book of Revelation, right? The saints in heaven stand with palm branches in their hands. It's a sign of victory. And they probably would have gotten it from Jericho because the elevation of Jerusalem is much higher than that of Jericho, even though they're only like 20 miles apart. So
I did not know that.
What they are singing, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel, that is from Psalm 118. This is a pilgrimage psalm, and there's some really just wonderful things in here. In verse 17, you have lines like, I shall not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. The Lord has chastened me severely, but has not given me to death. I mean, this is a complete messianic psalm. It's amazing. Open to me the gates of righteousness, and I will go through them. The stone which the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. So that's the thing, is just by saying this little bit, it's kind of like singing one of your cake songs, right? You sing like the first line of it, and you know the rest of it. I mean, that's what they're doing here.
Every night. Yep.
So, they are confessing who Christ is in this psalm. Now, they might not know exactly, or they might not know all the ramifications of that, But that's exactly what they're doing. So
And it's the kind of thing that in a way leads to his death, because as the Pharisees see that the crowds are going after him, all these events like Lazarus' resurrection and this keep pushing them further and further into thinking we need to do something about this Jesus.
Yeah, so like you said, you've got the humiliation of Christ very clearly. You've got this connection to the Old Testament, that the Old Testament saints knew who Christ was and what his work would be, even if it wasn't known clearly. You have the weakness of the disciples' faith. They did not understand these things at first, but when Jesus was glorified, then they remembered that these things were written about him, that they had done these things to him.
What do you think about the discussion sometimes that is had? And I don't necessarily buy into this. I may have maybe early in my ministry talked about it this way, of comparing the crucifixion with those as though it was the same people. It wasn't necessarily the same people shouting Hosanna and then later crucifying him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a city, because the Passover is happening, right?
Right.
And all male Jews are supposed to be there. This is one of the big three festivals, right? And so the city of Jerusalem would swell to over 1 million people. This is why everyone's like, oh, Pentecost is so great. Well, who knows? Maybe 50,000 people heard that sermon of Peter's.
Right.
Because that's another one of those festivals that they had to come back for. So, doesn't have to be the same people. And in fact, it's funny that the Pharisees are like, oh, the world is going after him. Well, in just a few days, the world is going to kill him.
I do think an interesting discussion, and then as I was kind of thinking about this, obviously I didn't do a whole lot of thinking about it, but the whole idea of Zechariah was kind of lighting their fire to build the temple that was fulfilled in Jesus. There's a lot you can say, because as people gather in Jerusalem, why? What was in the Jerusalem that they gathered for?
Yeah, the temple.
The temple. And just like the temple here pointed to Christ, their work that they were doing in Zechariah's day was in preparation for this. The kingdom that he was established would last forever. And I think there's an interesting sermon. I haven't quite gotten there yet, obviously, and focusing on Zechariah.
Do it, and then use Psalm 118, right? The stone that the builders rejected.
All right. What I'll do is,
So
for a treat for the listeners, remind me to do this, Vicar.
Okay.
I will record the sermon, and then later, halfway in the middle of the week, I will post that for you to listen to through the Clerical Errors podcast.
good. That's what I
Wherever
like to hear.
you listen to podcasts, then you can hear it.
Hannah, feel free to pester him.
We haven't heard from Hannah. Is Hannah still alive? Is she
Hannah's
doing okay?
still alive. I'm sure she's fine. There hasn't been much to say. She actually tweeted at me. She said she really liked the music from last week.
Yeah, it's a kind of a gangster episode. Oh, the last episode. Okay, I got to do a little bit of this. All right, we've talked about the text. So, Berg, I really wish you were here last time.
Okay.
Okay? Because go back and listen, because you want to listen to the second half of this episode, okay? Because what I did was I read a paper that yours truly wrote my second year of SEM
Nice.
that I got an A on.
Living the
But
dream.
I would just love to see your reaction to this sermon. Okay?
Can we do maybe a... well, I don't think we have time to play it all. But maybe we can do a reaction, kind of like we did the other time, where we listen to your thing, and then me and Berg listen over it again,
Okay.
and have Berg put in his comments.
All right. Today?
Well, we'll see. If Berg's got
Okay.
time, we can do it today. Maybe that
So,
can be our Easter episode.
Yeah, that could be I'll just to clue you in. You know what the name of this paper was called?
What?
Gang Activity and Pastoral Counseling.
It's come really in handy in in Hampton, Iowa, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Throwing up some gang signs and everything.
I've taken like your little thesis paragraph there, your first paragraph, added the music, cut that, and exported it separately, and I've been playing it for people, and they laugh every time.
I'd like to hear that.
Just without context, it's the funniest thing ever.
Could you play it for us?
Yeah, hang on.
All right.
Go ahead, talk.
And for a listener, if you just give us an email, we will send you the waveform of that so you can make it your ringtone.
Jeez.
All right, I just sent it so we can. Berg will have to listen on his own, I think.
Yeah.
See what you missed, Berg?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So where are we at? We're all over the place now.
So we have to have Berg record his reaction to the full paper.
I got an A on this paper, Berg. It's horrible.
I don't know what to say to that.
Well, so Berg, do you have anything to say about your new location? How's it going?
It's going well. We've moved in, and everybody's getting settled, and I am kind of transitioning into this new position, and it's been good. A lot of planning for the future. I've made a few contacts for some high school information since we're starting a high school here. Preached at chapel, and things are going pretty well. So,
are the kids afraid of you already?
A little bit, which is good.
That's the way it should be.
Rule with an iron fist. Well, I think that's what some of the teachers wanted. And I told them, I said, look, guys, I don't want to be full-time hall monitor. So, for the littler things, you're going to have to do your own discipline. But
did you meet the vicar?
The one at Our Savior's with Pastor Shear?
Yeah, Vicar Payne.
Ha, that's a great name. I did meet him. He was worked in some environmental thing, didn't he?
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, Peter, this is one of the fitness YouTubers I watch sometimes.
Don't worry, we weren't having a discussion or anything.
Sorry.
Also, this is an audio podcast. Why are you showing me a picture and interrupting our conversation?
What is in the starlight?
Are you kidding, man? We get Berg for the first time in weeks. He's talking and you interrupted him to show me a picture of a YouTuber you like. Say it out loud.
That is one of my rules. You're right.
Berg, I was just talking to them before you joined us how it's really the best podcast that a producer could ask for when two of the three talent don't show up for the start of the recording.
And I'm not here.
And I think the second best thing for a producer would to just interrupt any kind of flow of a conversation to show me a picture of a YouTuber.
Hey, to be fair, we are called the Clerical Errors Podcast because we're going to lean into our mistakes.
All right, fair enough. Sorry, am I going too hard? Am I going too hard?
No, you're fine. You're
okay,
fine.
You sad?
We're cool. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not sure how much content this content creator is putting out right now, though.
I guess not. Anyway.
So what were you talking? So how's 15.0 doing? Did he look good?
Yeah. He didn't have a cowboy hat, so.
How are the kids growing?
Yeah. We talked a little bit, and they seem like they're doing all right. I gave him heck because he hadn't sent in any Western updates. So I just figure the more I'm on this show, the more, I can shame him into, adding content.
Well, and he can bring his microphone. You guys can hang out in the same place over there, and we can all hang out in the same place over here and have a group podcast.
It's true. The thing is I don't know, where does he live in relation to Cheyenne? I think he drove like 2 hours for my installation.
Oh, wow. So like the next town over?
Yeah, something like that.
Rollins.
It was funny because a pastor down in Colorado invited me to come to one of their conferences, and I was just like, oh man, it's like 9 hours away. I'm not sure I want to do that. And he's like, look, man, you live in the West now. Anything less than 12 hours is a short drive. So,
hey, that's plenty of time to catch up on the podcast.
It's true. I would catch up on all the podcasts. So
have you met any listeners out there?
Our Cantor Borg is a listener. He is actually a distiller as well.
Wow.
Does that mean he can hook us up?
Yeah, so I wanted to put in a plug for his whiskey. It's called Arcola. It's pretty rad, man.
We might need some samples.
The Clericalers podcast does not support this company yet. If we get some samples, we can see about changing that. But for now, we don't like the company. It's a terrible place.
Yeah. We can't tell you how it's spelled until we get some.
All right. I'll see if I can hook us up because he's given me 2 bottles already. And it's amazing.
Well, then you can spell, I suppose.
So that's one of the 5 listeners in Wyoming. There's supposedly 5. Who are the other 4?
I don't know. I guess we'll meet them.
Well, maybe they should tell us where they are. Vicar, where can they get a hold of us?
Oh. Email at feedback@clericalerrors.org. They could find us on Facebook at facebook.com/clericalerrorspodcast. Or find us on Twitter at clericalerrorsp.
P for podcast, bro.
Can you do it without your key card?
Probably not.
Yeah, okay. Work on it.
Our outro is from Wyoming.
It is.
Right?
Yeah. She's surprised that she's still on, so.
We can't replace that. That.
She did a great job.
I like it. There's something very calming about it ending. You hear that, you listen all the way through, and then you hear the... That's the best thing we've ever done. What are we talking about?
I don't think we're talking about anything anymore.
I'm like a shut-in right now who hasn't seen anybody in like 2 months, and then they start talking. I don't know.
Screw it. We got 8 minutes left. Do what you want to do. I don't care.
Yeah.
This wasn't a good podcast to begin with. That's fine.
I was gonna.
You want to show me your YouTuber now? That'll be good audio. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's a YouTuber called More Plates, More Dates, which is he's a weightlifter, and if you
I thought he was talking about going to like a buffet or something.
No, it's like I think originally it was weightlifting to pick up chicks. More plates on the more dates.
So he's not at Golden Corral,
right? But if you go to his videos, his background looks just like yours.
I mean, I am pretty awesome. So.
See, look.
Yeah.
Pretty rustic looking.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Except he's got like a heat register behind him.
Okay. Yeah, I have a little bookshelf. It's kind of nice. So I thought that this office was going to be, because they were all like really worried about it, and they're like, it's just a really small office, and I'm like, hey, I didn't even have an office at my last church, so.
That's true. Well, but your parsonage is right there, and you had an office in your parsonage.
It's true. I never used it for that because, especially with babies crying and all that kind of stuff. So,
fair enough.
So I wanted a little news that bothers Berg. Peter, play the intro.
There's fake news. There's real news. Then there's real news that Berg wishes was fake. It's time to hear news that bothers Berg.
So I was trying to find some news, and I was looking at I'm doing great at this.
What's
the
wrong with you?
patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is it? How do you Kirill is his name.
Yeah, he's like broken fellowship with like the Eastern Orthodox, right? The Greek Eastern Orthodox, right?
Right.
And it seems like they have schisms every other day, so...
Right.
Yeah, they're the true body of Christ.
That's right. Think of all the Fort Wayne guys
who went east for the for the true unity of the Christian church, right?
Right. So he preaches sermons like recently, I think, about Ukraine and how they're part of the Ukraine and Russia belong together, and he's basically one of Putin's pals.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But there's pictures of him on his private yacht and his private jet, and
this patriarch has a private yacht and a private jet?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man. Not really, but
It bothers Berg because you don't have a yacht, right?
Yeah. Well, and yeah, besides the other reason of,
where would you put it in Wyoming?
Well, this is only the beginning of the Berg district is the thing.
Of the what?
The Berg district.
It's true.
So there's going to be a Bollhagen district, a non-geographical of all my vicars.
Indeed.
What percentage of U.S. pastors are you directly responsible for? You think it's the percent?
Or LCMS, you mean?
Yeah, LCMS.
I will say this. I would say about 7% of the pastors in my district have been vicars at Hampton.
Okay, so what have you had? 17, right?
17. You're 18.
I'm 18.
So 17 pastors right now. Right.
There are 17 pastors. Okay.
Will be. This month, one will.
Well, we'll just do 16 until it's for sure.
Okay.
6, and then divided by what? 6,000 pastors in the LCMS.
Is that how many there are?
Just to kind of make it round numbers, right? Including Emeriti.
But you know what though? There's like 400 of those I wouldn't want to claim. So
okay,
let's lock that.
Okay, so 5,000, 4,000.
Sure, 5,000.
Okay. You are responsible for 0.3%, 0.0032. So it's
that's not bad.
So 0.3%.
Almost 0.5%.
Not many people have that big of a number.
So there you go.
Wow.
Living the dream. You should get a hat.
So you should get a hat, yeah.
That's like having an enclave that's paid for.
Berg, I went with
Amen.
you. I went with you. I'll be honest. What in the world do you mean why you should get a hat? What?
Well, like a bishop's hat, like a mitre.
Oh, like a self-important like church hat.
Yeah, because he's their father in Christ. They could call him Papa or Pope for short.
There you go.
What's interesting about this though is it's how Putin over the years has tried to make nice with the church.
Well, it's not really too surprising because if you treat the church right, then they can, be an effective, propaganda machine.
Right.
You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense, and this is why, really, up until recently, most governments tried to make the church a department of the state, like the Prussian Union, for example. You know what I mean?
And the fact that, in a sense, it's a way of Russian pride is to elevate the the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Right. Not necessarily because they believe it, but because it is a focal point of unity among them.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. And, who's the author? George Herbert, who wrote Dune. He makes this point that, religion is a very powerful tool, and it can be. And this is why it's very important for us to preach the right religion, You even see the same thing in the Bible, right, with Amos. When Amos preaches about the destruction of the northern kingdom, they tell them, hey, go preach in Judah, earn your bread there. Why? Because it goes against the civil religion, you know?
And
It's
don't
kinda
you
like-
think that's been a big part of our own country?
Yeah, in our own country too. I mean, when did they add in God We Trust to the Pledge of Allegiance? Do you know when?
No, I don't. Was it
In the
Abraham Lincoln?
No, it was in the 1950s.
Really?
Yeah, it was a way to stand against communism. So, it doesn't surprise me at all that countries would use religion in order to control the populace in a less overt way, you know?
Right.
And that's why
and
true religion is never really loved by governments, so...
Yeah,
Because
well-
true religion, kicks them in the face sometimes and says, stop it.
Well, we need to wrap this up. It's been a heavy content show.
Hey, all the content was at the end, man.
Hey, man,
That's right.
that YouTuber is
I'm
really
just happy
cool.
to have you back.
I hydrated ahead of time, so.
I'm just happy to have you back, Berg.
Yeah,
You look good. You look healthy.
I know. It's all this thin air up here.
So, well, I got nothing left.
Yeah, I can't wait to have more episodes with you, Berg. Let's try and do this again sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Saturday.
All right, I'll go Saturday.
Well, we'll talk about it after recording. Anyways. Wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. I'm Bollhagen.
I'm Berg.
And I'm Vicar.
And may everybody show up on Discord next time. And may your plates get dates.
And may your Coca-Cola have space.
Come on now, man.
Thank you for joining us. This podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Questions, thoughts, concerns? You can contact us on Facebook at facebook.com/Clerical Errors Podcast, on Twitter at Clerical Errors P for podcast, or email us at feedback@clericalerrors.org. Thanks for listening to Clerical Errors. See you next time.